What is up, friends? Welcome to week 17 here at EGFC Rocket League. This is our final regular Wednesday broadcast here. As we don't even have a full lineup today. In this week 17, we're just going to play some makeup games, give some teams that had bye weeks a chance to get their 16-15 game on record in Xavier's case. But before we talk about today's matches, I mean, we had some action happening over the weekend, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did. We had those conference championships. The top teams from all over these regions got to participate in that quick little double elimination tournament for extra seeding into the national championships and also to see if any wild cards came out to compete. I don't think anybody crossed the threshold this time around, although that's not necessarily uncommon, but we did have some interesting turnouts. University of Montana bridging over Montana State, a big one for me being Southern Utah University performing so well
Yeah.
in that American Conference Championship. So really great Cinderella run through that losers bracket. That was really awesome to watch.
And there was USC did really well in American Conference as well. We'll see them a little bit later on today. They were able to take UTA to a game 5 in the winners bracket finals. That was a really good series. Big surprise for me also down in the Big East, Xavier punching above their weight class, grabbing third place. They went in ranked 6th into the weekend, came out taking third place above some very notable teams there in the Big East. Butler has to be my most improved squad of the year. I think they're the team that came in from season 3 to season 4 and really just stepped it up a notch. The blue collar squad of Butler University, the blue collar Bulldogs, man, they had one heck of a year. Definitely my most improved team of the season.
Yeah, I mean, what a stunning return and what a crazy line that they've had throughout the what little season they've been able to play for themselves. Just been playing catch up so quickly, and yet they've improved at the same pace that most teams need that whole year to, especially after that reset button being hit. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. This squad is looking really exciting going into the national championships. But like you said before, Xavier, a team that we get to watch twice tonight, actually, is they're playing 2 of their makeup games today, both of which are pretty important. They are currently 12th in those standings. They have a chance to either lock 11th or end up getting placed in 14th, depending on how they do today. But we're going to be starting out with a game that is not necessarily as consequential. St. John's University taking on Rochester Institute of Technology.
Yep, obviously we do have some games today that we need to talk about. So we'll get on into that. Both of these teams with a bit of a rough season. St. John's 3-12 coming into this week 17. RIT not faring much better, 4-11 coming in. Both teams, I mean RIT in particular, we're just in a bit of a transition year, new roster, new faces that we're not used to seeing on the Tigers, and it's taken them a little time to get some synergy, but they were able to put some wins together there towards the end of the season. They went 1-7 in 1-6. They had a bye week in fall split, and then came out and got 3 wins in fall. So we saw some improvement from them as season 4 went on. A win here would be a nice way for the Tigers here to cap this off, take a little confidence going into the summer break.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by how much Rochester's improved over this season. They look like such a more synergized team. They've clearly spent so much time in the lab and just stacking and practicing, and it's really shown out. Not necessarily in time for this season, but I mean, half of the teams in every one of these leagues walk into one of these seasons, knowing they're not going to make that championship cusp, or, halfway through the year just playing so many games that are, by all accounts, kind of meaningless. And yet, you keep playing because you're an athlete and you want that time in. These teams specifically decided to play through their games and do so on stream as well. They decided that too. Just how badly these players who are not in contention this season anymore to go any farther than tonight, how badly they want to improve, how badly they want to see that light at the end of the tunnel, just as much as every other player that's going to the national championships this year.
And just how badly they want to get out here and compete and continue to improve. I mean, it's not about the overall record. It's about week in, week out, coming in and leaving everything you got on the pitch. And both these teams have certainly had that. We talked about RIT's rebuilding here a bit. St. John's has gone through something similar. A lot of new faces on the pitch. You see Classical Sprite, Shane Uresta, and Treachery out here for St. John's today. And these are some newer faces. These are faces that we hadn't seen, on a regular basis at the start of season 4. And St. John's has gone through that same process. So every extra game is very valuable to the squad. Oh, is RIT almost let one sneak in behind them?
Both these teams coming off of pretty positive weeks, all things considered. St. John's having a W actually, against Marquette University. And meanwhile, RIT able to drag University of Cincinnati to 3 games, or to 5 games, excuse me. As Shane Aresta, excuse me, is going to find that first goal for St. John's. Unfortunate bump by 4.
And talk about that game against Cincinnati. That is a monumental game. Cincinnati is an impeccable squad. Let's see. I mean, they finished in top 10. They finished at number 6 with 13-3, and RIT took them to a game 5. Absolutely, that's one you're proud of.
Yeah, 100%. Cincinnati, I don't know if they showed. Where were they in the tournament? I don't think they played in the Eastern Conference tournament, unfortunately. So we didn't get to see much more of them in the tail end of the season, but I am excited to see them in the national championships because they are such a wild card squad, and a team that has so much power behind them. So to grab 2 on them, 2 pretty solid games, and really take them to the brink, that's something that you can really hold your head up high towards walking into the off season.
Shane Aresta putting a good look in here, but Treachery is very late to the play, and RIT is able to break up a little bit, but St. John's coming in for another attack. See if they can double their lead. Touch from Classical Sprite ends up a little lackluster, and Treachery's challenge leaves the ball just sitting in the box. Treachery's able to pick it back up and go in the corner, but they get the boost robbed out from underneath them, and St. John's running out of some steam here in their attack in the back half of game 1.
Yeah, both these teams have found pretty good openings for counterattacks. It's just taken them a little while. No attrition has really necessarily played out. It's been a lot of neutral offensive interactions, and it's let both these teams keep a lot of their stamina, so it really leads to a test of just mental endurance rather than boost endurance, which is what these teams normally have to grapple with. And it comes down to, how long can you go without making that mistake? And when that mistake is made, the other team, they will grab so much thanks to it. St. John's holding on to this lead, 80 seconds to go here in game number 1. Both teams have had a fair amount of chances. RIT having one in front of them for a moment, but it's well blocked by St. John's for the moment, and their conversion is looking okay, perhaps, as 4 will get an actually okay bump, so Tomato can get the juggle. That's a bluff on 1, but St. John's a little too present still.
Yeah, 4 with some good touches in here. Is able to keep it in the zone. Loses it there. As I say something, Shane Aresta launches it down into the orange half. Fun name to say. Classical Sprite comes through with the steal, going up high with Treachery. Back him up. 4 intercepts the pass. Ends up back at midfield. Tomato and 4 kind of figuring out where to go with the ball. Ends up being a centering pass and a long shot from area. Still in the box, but St. John's able to wrestle it down. Treachery will finally get it out of the zone. Ooh, good block at midfield for 4. Tried to center for somebody, but there's nobody there but blue cars.
Now it's crunch time. RIT trying to take over a corner, but Treachery carrying for far too long. Attempted shot. Big clear here is Sprite forced back into their own corner. Actually will not grab boost, and that might mean a little bit for RIT's approach as long as they can get their hands on the ball, but they simply cannot. Sprite back over to the orange corner, area. That's what it is. It's area. As area able to get it back out. Now carried by Tomato against the woodwork here. 4 has a good shot, but it's just a little bit too low. A tragic end, but a good staple into a game that I think RIT understood that they absolutely could win at any moment. Now they just know that they need to.
And each one of those plays is extremely important. Each one of those opportunities they get, each one of those looks towards the net, is very valuable. And it's something that you can't squander. So, and we see RIT's final chance just falls into the dirt right in front of the goal line. It beat the defenders and just didn't have enough, enough aerial. It didn't have enough area at all. It could not stay up. Enough velocity, nothing. Didn't have it. It didn't have the mustard.
Yeah, but RIT knows for sure that they're very capable of winning game 2. And
Sure.
the set going forward, I mean, they were able to keep up in shots and saves, in clears. They matched in metrics. They just did not connect as often. They did not connect a single time that last game. St. John's, they only needed to connect once. Can they do it again? Can they take this second game, or will RIT play catch-up in this next 5 minutes of regulation?
Some good moves from Tomatoes. Broken through the zone. But the other two players were very far back for RIT and still not able to get that second touch blocked. Fortunately for the Tigers, Shane Arrest is not able to get the double tap on target.
Shane Arrest doing so much legwork.
Oh, so much legwork. Dancing around the defense. Treachery going up here for a high ball, working it off the wall. No real help to speak of, especially with Shane Arrest getting demoed at the line back there. But a good challenge from Sprite, keeps it in the orange half, and Treachery touches it back down into the corner where they're going to go fight for it against Tomato. Touch in, gets left behind, and 4 is able to challenge, and RIT able to clear.
And again, great holds by RIT. They just need to convert it into something a little bit more. An area cannot hold on to that ball forever. 4 playing a good second, but needs to approach a little bit more. RIT just looking to try and have it all figured out. And I guess with the amount of time that they have and their ability to defend against St. John's, maybe looking for that golden opportunity is still worth it right now to them. As Tomato, good boost up, but 4 thwarted by the triple contest.
And Area doesn't get a solid touch, has to work the back pass, which means RIT has to fight again at midfield, but they're able to win that fight in 4. An exclamation point of a demo there to find RIT's first goal of the night. It's Tomato who was able to just fight tooth and nail at midfield, get past all 3 defenders, 4 there with the finish.
And then Shane Aresta was that last line of defense, wasn't he? Able to just barely cling on to that ball after the feeding frenzy from St. John's led to a moment of weakness, but 4 collapsing at that perfect moment. That's what RIT needed this whole time, and they found it here in game 2. Now, can they hold on to that lead the same way that SJU did in game number 1 and bring us to game 3 with a tied scoreline?
I do like when RIT going attack, they're starting to ramp up their tempo a little bit. Oh, that shot from Tomato, weaving it between the defenders, but it ends up just outside the post. But this aggression from RIT is looking good. Rotations are there defensively, so Tomato's able to hold the midfield line. Nice second touch, wide open net, area shot, blocked by Tomato, no!
That's a little bit unfortunate. That's really unfortunate for Rochester there. I wonder what the comms are like at the moment.
I think they're exactly what I just said. I was just echoing the comms. They're just going, no!
No! Well, they still got control. They've still got possession here. They've been able to keep it in front of midfield for quite some time. Shane Aresta finally escapes with it. Is already contested. 4 able to try and boom it back out. Doesn't actually get that much distance, so Tomato opts for the redirect. A little less frontline presence, but you maybe just don't need an area. Almost perfectly on target. Instead, more pressure is required. 4 can get in front of it. Area back up again, but it's met by Treachery. RIT corralling from midfield. Tomato, bad bump. 4 missing. Shane Aresta pop right in. And with 1:05 on the clock, 105 seconds, I think. 1:45 on the clock. St. John's have tied it back up.
Oh, and 4 just not able to get a piece of it. Gets behind them. Shane Aresta puts in the tying goal on RIT with some just beautiful chances. Can't get any of them to go home. 4 with a gorgeous shot that ends up just wide. Had my pin already in my hand. I thought it was going home. Alas, no. It's the other direction. And the Red Storm, well, they continue to be a fury here on the defense. Is Classical Sprite with a very important save. Treachery trying to screen back down in transition. Challenging 4 in the corner. Even gets a touch, kind of get it away from him a little bit. But RIT, tripping over their own feet in what could have been a good attack.
And it's something that we're looking to escape from, that scramble culture that we saw a lot more of in Game 1. And we tend to see that between more lower-seeded teams when they start playing their matches. Just because they really just want to get their hands on the ball. They want to make sure they have more possession, so they have more time to figure things out. They have more time to experiment. They have more time to just get that read. That offense and holding on to it is so crucial. That it can lead to desperation, especially when the team that you're playing against is at that higher skill ceiling. And unfortunately, both these teams faltering less and less, but still faltering. 35 on the clock for good dribble. Area Good hit over to that back corner where Shane Aresta is laying in wait, but only available for one tap. Area has some good elevation On that bounce, Tomato tries to keep the party going.
There
4
it
back
is.
down, and it's in just enough. Rochester back ahead.
4 coming up with goal number 2. Not just of the game, but of the day. And it's off of a beautiful feed from Tomato. Working the wall perfectly to get that up over into the middle behind the defense. Back door is open. RIT storm the castle. 23 seconds to go, and the Tigers have just taken the lead back. And their explosiveness has been rewarded. A demo early off the kickoff. Uh-oh, but Sprite's getting behind them. Can the defense of RIT get back on this rotation? Sprite took a little too long. Defenders there.
Still on the ground here. Back up. Our area has that. Not going to try and kill it. Just go for the distance. Shane Aresta has the lead here to pop it up once. Tomato gets it out, though. Oh, good keep up by Shane. But still in this blue territory, and so much of RIT is pouncing. Finally, it's down. Rochester will climb back and bring us to a tied series once more.
Definitely felt like Rochester had the shots on that one. Yeah, there you go. 8-3 in shots. I imagine possession would look very similar as far as percentage is concerned. By my eye test, I'd give probably 65% possession to RIT in that one. And they started to up the pace. You know, you were kind of hitting at mistakes being made. And I think a lot of that is because the tempo starting to get ramped up here by the Tigers. And it worked out well for them. It resulted in a lot more shots, 4 times the shots in game 2 that they had in game 1.
Well, as they go more and more high caliber, let's hope they don't trip over themselves. Let's hope that it doesn't turn into that ego trip, because we know that it is such a steep slope when it comes to playing it aggressively. If they want to opt for something like demos, I'm totally down with that. I actually think that'll help RIT more than anything else, because then they're allowed to slow down when they want to, because right now they kind of have to keep their foot on the floor. But, you know, whatever they add to their playstyle, I just hope that it's not over the line, because at that stage, St. John's can start running away with it. It can turn to a shootout, and we go back to square one.
And we saw RIT tripping over themselves a little bit. I think if they hadn't, we're looking at a 4-1 scoreline, not a 2-1 scoreline. So definitely a concern there, and definitely some mistakes that St. John's could capitalize on, but some early aggression here. Classical Sprite doing a good job to get in front of that ball. Tomato was looking at the back of the net.
We're taking it all the way back to the corner, following it the whole way through, just waiting for the rest of RIT to get in front of it. Area losing it a bit early, though, so Tomato has to play in the 1v2. Shane continues to keep it stable. I still think Shane might be the best player on the pitch at the moment. Been doing so much work for St. John's. Unfortunately, it just has not been able to do enough against this RIT defense, at least in game number 2. Now Sprite getting in on the action, though. Good carry. Tomatoes on target, though.
Oh, it was a pretty move. St. John's robbed of one there. Maybe he deserved it, but defense was in place, was not fooled. Big cross pass. Gets away from Shane Aresta. Classical Sprite's able to push it back down. 4 was waiting for it, but Shane gets the second touch to drive over the line. Has a player in the middle. Treachery can't get the shot off, though, as Ariel knocks it straight up in the sky, able to get in front of that pass and doing a good job of doing so. It allows RIT here to push into the blue half. If they want to challenge this, no, they can't.
Great arc. Once more is Treachery. Oh, massive whiff. Shane couldn't recover based off of it, and now RIT has a chance to break away with it. 4 clashing for no contesting, but there's too much presence in front of that ball and not enough speed behind it to make it not matter. But we're still in this corner area. Another bump atop the backboard, but Shane is still in control. Shane is still able to restabilize. Not in the 2v1, though. Tomato brings it back up. Shane has to back pass. Might backfire. But Sprite has control again and the corner boost, so should be able to get this out.
That was a dangerous back pass there by Shane. Sprite might be able to get an opportunity here. Gets a favorable bounce, but Tomato's able to make the read. RIT just send it right back the other direction. Good defense there from SJU. St. John's got to get something done on the attack, though. Not able to put much shots up in game 2 so far. Not a whole lot in game 3. Shane with an open goal. 4 is able to come across, make the block. No shots there for SJU on that one either.
But it's getting hairpin close, isn't it? You can tell.
It is.
One of these teams is about to fall apart. Just 1 split second is all you need. A goal will be scored, and I expect that these games will continue to be low scoring just because, again, the neutral defense is just really solid, and these teams have been so clutch so far. I don't think that's going to stop.
But, I mean, we're perfectly tied halfway through the series, halfway through game 3. And there's no differentiating factor except for Area getting behind. Holy cow, what happened here, Tenric? Area just gets away from everybody.
Yeah, Sprite's out of commission. Treachery took too big of a U-turn. I think they expected the boost to be back, and I don't think it was. Or maybe it was, and Treachery just wasn't fast enough. But either way, yeah, SJU weirdly out of the picture for that goal, and they could pay the ultimate price for it, that being Game 3. But they brought it back to a 1-1 scoreline once. Can they do it again?
Well, first things first, they got to get it out of their own zone, out in front of their net at the moment. Good save from Shane Aresta. Sprite does escape the zone, so there's step 1 under their belt. Not able to hold it there. This area beats out 2. Back up from Tomato, and Treachery will not get a look at the goal. Good play from Shane Aresta. The ball bounces back in favorably for St. John's. They still just not able to corral it down. They have to fall back to this midfield line and just in hopes of keeping it in the box. Shane Aresta will take a shot from midfield here. Takes 2 to get it done. RIT double commit on the defense, but they keep the ball out of the net.
So much space making and yet so much peacekeeping from Rochester. I love their ability to just flower out when necessary to those corners and then take those boosts back and then still come back in when needed. And unfortunately, though, Shane's presence right in front of that goal just goes uncontested because RIT trying to keep that tempo. And now we are indeed tied back up.
I don't know what Area saw out there. Area goes screaming out of the goal. I don't know, looking for the third man to come up and perhaps make a play out of midfield, looking for the rebound. But it puts them in just a bad spot. Leaves the goal open. Good play. And Treachery almost with the lead.
Oh, man, Shane's recovering.
Oh, there it is.
Wow.
Goal for Shane Aresta. St. John's have stolen this one.
That was so impressive from Shane after a really great start, but able to just bounce that right back. RIT absolutely did not see it coming, and that's the kind of surprise factor. That's the kind of instant lethality you need to take this game and take this series for that matter, as St. John's desperately try to hold on to this lead for another 60 seconds to gain the lead back in the series itself.
Oh, it feels like a pivotal moment of the series here for St. John's. Get these 2 quick back-to-back goals here in this point in the series, at this point in this tied-up Game 3. And suddenly, you can feel the winds have shifted inside this pitch. Sprite's able to keep it in. Another good look here. That one's going to go, and St. John's increase their lead to 3.
And that's also Shane Aresta immediately changing that role from striker to beater. Essentially, just playing for that traffic jam instead, knowing that there wasn't much else he could do. Able to let Sprite take that shot and let SJU just continue that pace ahead. Team looking better as the match goes on, Bull Skunk. I feel a very big shift in the power balance about to occur.
I think it's already occurred. I think St. John's have totally turned the tide here, and that's another one. Gorgeous shot in the upper 90. Shane Aresta will find the hat trick here in Game 3, and Red Storm taking over here in this series.
And at that point, I think this game is going to be a wash, and RIT just has to play from that brink. At this point, you're trying to get your mental wiped clean, trying to get that slate completely clear, because after this game, it essentially will be. RIT just going to try and keep that healthy mentality, because, yeah, this is going to be St. John's game. RIT just going to take their foot off the gas a little bit.
Well, I mean, and RIT are in real trouble here. If they can't mentally reset themselves, then this could be St. John's with a massive advantage going into Game 4. It all depends on how well RIT can recoup and just put this one behind them. Because in the last minute, St. John's ran away with it, putting up 5 goals unanswered. And now the Tigers have a real challenge before them in what could be the final game of their season. We will not see them in Nationals. We will not see them in postseason. Can they bounce back and send us to that Game 5?
Well, we'll have to know within the next couple minutes. RIT will not have much time to get this off their backs. But it's a game that I think very clearly ran away from them. So I imagine it's not really dogging them too hard. You know, every you know, high-level Rocket League player experiences losses like these all the time. Sometimes games just get out of your hands, and there's nothing you can really do about it. All you can do, GG, go next.
Exactly. And keep the mental strong, which means keeps comms going, keep morale up, stay positive, keep talking. Last thing you want to do is go silent in this situation and everybody just sit there and kind of brood and wallow in the imagination of we had this in our grasp, what went wrong. Don't even give your chance, don't give your team an opportunity to think about that. It is all just positive optimism. You've got this. Just go out there and play your game. RIT, bounce back. This could be the most important and toughest mental challenge that they've faced all season. I would like to see them overcome it.
And I think St. John's, you're coming from the other side of the seesaw, you know? You're trying to amp yourselves a little bit back down after such a dominant win in that game 3, a game that you clearly had control over, and you were able to take that W. That always feels good to be on the other side of that. But you also have to understand that this is still a new game, and you have to prove that you're better all over again, which if St. John's does now, they will win this match and grab another win for the end of this season.
Yes, outside of confidence and a little bit of strategy of knowing what worked for you, you don't carry anything else over. You don't get any favoritism because it was a blowout in Game 3 versus a 1-goal win. As Area is going to prove to St. John's right now and make sure that their head doesn't get a little too big for them. It's a beautiful pinch pass from 4 to set up Ariel for goal number 1 here in this game.
That really is. And that's a great shot to keep it upstairs. That's something that Area clearly wanted to do before and now has the ability to and can indeed execute. So great stuff from RIT to keep this series alive. Now can they keep that lead? St. John's looking to get that streak back online. Shane Aresta very unlocked that previous game and obviously the best player on this St. John's team, just being that consistent scorer, that consistent person in front of this ball, while having 2 great supporting players behind him in Sprite and Treachery.
All right, and just important positioning on both sides of the pitch. We see a good block there on the defense, a great challenge here in front of the net for Shane Aresta. 4 is able to kind of skirt around and get it back into the blue half. Area wants a shot. It's going to be a slow one. Tomato's follow-up, though. That one's going to go as Tomato scores goal number 2 for RIT. And the Tigers now on top by 2.
Tomato saying, deal with it. Oh, goodness. Tragedy on the home front for the attempted block. As St. John's, once again, getting a little bit ahead of themselves, quite literally, for RIT to grab that second goal. Now this lead is very visible. With 3:30 on the clock, a Game 5 is entirely feasible if St. John's does not level up around now.
We know that St. John's can put up goals. They did it in Game 3 with 5 of them coming out line. Shane Aresta responsible for 3 of those. So St. John's has the firepower, certainly, to get back into this Game 4, but, man, RIT, they answered. They came back from Game 3 with a strong mental and a good game plan, and they've put up 2 goals. Oh, they're going to give up one here. Yes, Treachery comes through with the follow-up. And suddenly, RIT's lead has just been cut in half.
What amazing game sense from Sprite there to understand.
That touch from Sprite.
That ricochet, yeah. That was such a great catch. And just enough of a lack of velocity behind it, so it didn't soar into the woodwork like so many of those blocks often do. Another huge turning point is Sprite will get another boot off kickoff that Tomato and 4 have to give everything to save from, and St. John's want to turn up the heat right about now.
And we talked about the 5 goals St. John scored in Game 3. That was after RIT had an early lead. And then St. John's come in with 5 unanswered. So there's precedent there. There's, yeah, a little demolition derby going on here. Big punch from Sprite. It's going to get behind Tomato, chase that ball down. Wanted to pinch it out in the middle for Shane Aresta, but it goes way up in the air. And Ford's able to boot it back down into the blue half. Halfway through Game 4, RIT up by 1. Area looking to increase that. Ball goes way far, but it's a double demo in the blue half. Tomato wants to look at this goal, but can't get the right angle. And Treachery is able to send it back into the corner.
Committing that much to the double demo means you have so much less on that ball. You have less power in the angles, you have less power in where you're shooting from, and how fast you're able to shoot. And so, unfortunately, spreading those resources a little bit too thin, so that Treachery was able to just make that simple tap back up. No rebound available. As there's 2 minutes and still a 1-goal lead present for the team trying to drag this to a Game 5. Sprite keeps it up, though, and Shane will put it in. 2-2.
Just like that, St. John's have destroyed the lead the Tigers once held. That felt so important and felt like it was such a pivotal moment. St. John's have turned it right back around once again, fighting from behind. Minute 52 on the clock. Area gonna get a good touch here off kickoff. Feels like this next goal could be the one to make or break the series.
For those curious, this win here for St. John's will actually make the match records of RIT and St. John's identical, 4-12. RIT will still be ahead because of their much better game differential, but St. John's making that climb up to prove that they are as good, if not better, than this team, that they can indeed compete with that level above, that slight level above here, at least for this end of the season. A great send-off that they're trying to cap off here in this next 70 seconds, but they still need to score one more goal to do it.
It kind of feels like a rivalry in the making between these two squads. As tightly as they play each other, both teams coming out of New York, St. John's out of Queens, and then obviously RIT out of Rochester. Could definitely be a rivalry that develops it and really comes to fruition in Season 5. Shane Estro in front of the net finds one near post, and St. John's take the lead with 51 seconds to go.
Threading the needle this time. Shane putting a little style on it. Those corner shots, tougher for both of these teams this entire season, in fact, but to do that from the ground with such confidence, with such bravado, Shane Aresta is the only one who could do it at this stage, being that top scorer in the lobby. St. John's, 45 seconds to hold on to this greatness, and Bullskunk, I think you've sold me on this rivalry. I love it. They are so tight-knit, and like you said, same state. It's too perfect.
It does just make a lot of sense, right? And even the way they're playing each other, we've gotten a lot of physicality between the two. Even the style, the tension on the pitch, it feels like a rivalry. It feels like it means something to these players out here with 23 seconds. RIT driving in, looking for this tying goal, looking to not finish on a loss here in Game 4. Area with an important touch, gets behind Treachery, able to follow the ball up on the wall, but Classical Sprite's going to come in with the steal. 4 trying to push it away, but Treachery waiting for it at midfield. 4 misses it. Shane Estra's going to put the dagger in the coffin that'll bury RIT season.
A tragic inch of overthinking. 4 dodging the ball, unfortunately. And that will do it. That will end not only the game, but the match, as well as both of these teams' seasons, which is kind of crazy to say. But that will be their last game, and St. John's putting themselves a cut above to cap it off.
And putting themselves in that exact 4-12 spot to mirror RIT's overall record. This definitely has all the makings of a rivalry developing right before us here in the final day of regular season. Here, Season 4, we've got the seeds planted for something special in Season 5.
Yeah, I'm really glad we got to catch a matchup like that at the end of this season, just in time to see what both of these teams have packing going into the offseason, which I can't wait to learn more about. We may get to learn a little more about St. John's as we'll look for an interview, and if we don't find that, we'll be back for the first of the 2 matches that Xavier must endure tonight.
All right, we got Shane Arista on the line here from St. John University, captain of the squad. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to come talk with us. Congrats on the dub.
Of course, of course. Thank you, thank you.
So a bit of you got past the keys to the kingdom a little bit as we were kind of talking about during the break. Primal graduated between fall and spring semesters. What has been your goal here through the spring split and kind of taking over for captain duties of the squad and kind of ushering in a new era for the Red Storm? How has that gone for the spring split?
Obviously it's hard. I mean, Primal has been here for a while and he's been running it for a while, so he knew kind of what to do, what the league was like and everything. And it's kind of hard, just kind of getting thrown in here. But I think we're doing well for ourselves. Just trying to get a consistent team together that can always play and just get to know how to play with each other is our main thing this year.
Yeah, and I mean, capping off your season with 2 wins to end that season, it's got to feel really good. It's got to feel like you're making some real progress. Do you imagine that that same amount of progress, that same sort of regimen, is going to carry into the off season, or do you guys think the team pacing is going to change a little bit?
I think I'm really excited for next season. I think during summer and this off season, I think we'll have a lot of time to practice, and I think that we will not be in the bottom half of teams next season. Hopefully, but that's our goal at least is to try to get to at least that upper half of teams.
I think that's a good goal, and I think that's completely attainable. If there's so I mean, it sounds like you're expecting a similar squad that we've seen through spring to return for fall. Is that correct?
Yeah, as of right now, yeah, definitely. These are the kids that we've been playing with for this whole semester, and at the beginning it was a little rocky, but you can see like as the season's gone on, we've kind of felt more comfortable with each other and gotten better playing with each other, and just practicing in general outside of games has gotten us better.
Is there anything particular you want to do over the summer to help improve that synergy and help come into fall to be the best Red Storm that y'all can be?
I would say just playing consistently. I mean, I know it's hard with everything that we have going on, especially as students and working and jobs and all that. But if we can just get in like maybe a practice a day, like at least everybody hop on for at least like an hour a day, I think that would help us a lot. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure watching you play and watching your team grow. Really looking forward to what you have for us for next year. Hope you have a wonderful summer, you and the rest of the squad. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you get out of here?
thank my mom, thank my dad, thank my team, thank my school. That's about it.
Love
Thank
it.
you guys.
Hey, congrats on in and out in the dub, and thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
You as well. You as well. That was Shane Aresta, previously known as Lawson, here from St. John's University, captain of the squad, and ushering into to new and better times, continuing to grow and get better. And well, this the stream we're going to continue to move along. We're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we've got Xavier coming in for their first of 2 matches of the day. This first one, they're taking on Washington State. We'll be back with more EGFC in just a minute. All right, and we are headed on to our second match of the evening, our final week of the regular season. It's a bit of a makeup week. This is week 17, so a shortened schedule for you tonight. Jeff and Tenrick back at you for match number 2. Washington State taking on Xavier, or just Xavier. Gee, my producer threw me off. I blame my producer entirely for that one. It's Xavier College. I apologize there to you Musketeers.
Teams were supposed to take each other on back in the last week of the fall split, but unfortunately, they had to forfeit to Xavier. So they finally get their rematch tonight. Super excited to have that. Washington State's a team that I've been paying attention to for a long time. It's been a long time since they won a game without a forfeit. And so it's been a little tough for them, but I think they're a team that has been constantly improving this season. And I think they're looking great. But Xavier's the talk of the town tonight because they have the biggest stakes tonight, playing 2 matches instead of just the one and being pretty close to the teams both above and below them in the standings. This is actually pretty important.
It truly is. And depending how this goes, Xavier can move as high as in the 11th place, where they could overtake Southern Utah, or they could drop down to 14th. So currently sitting in 12th, they could definitely shift around here in the middle of the pack, which is going to determine seeding, which is going to determine who their first opponents are once we get into nationals. So a couple of important back-to-back games, as you mentioned, for sure.
Yeah, this first match, not as impactful. The one that's going to be after that against University of Southern California, the team directly below them in the standings, will be a little more important. But this one means a lot if Xavier wants to try and get that 11th place spot, because it needs to win both of their matches tonight in order to do so. This first match up against Washington State, again, a match that they didn't get to play earlier on in the season, but now finally getting to. Xavier, on paper, the better team for sure, but again, Washington State has some solid wild card attributes. His Mythic is going to find that first goal for Xavier.
Well, and I will say Xavier are running with 2 players that I don't recognize here. There's no Valor on the pitch right now, no Confused Irish, no I'm Ratio. It is Galaxy alongside Mythic and another substitute who's Jubal Clary? I'm not familiar, Tenrick. These are new faces here.
Xavier roster clearly rolling deep at the moment. Should be mentioned, we are going to be switching between servers as games go on. We are currently playing on Western servers. For context, Xavier is in Ohio, while Washington State is in Florida. So playing on those Western servers, huge ping for both of them. And the game is generally in a terrible state.
I sent some falsehoods here. Something in that sentence didn't quite line up. About like Xavier's defense. Oh, that joke was so bad he had to just walk away from his computer. I understand. I get it. Fitzy moving through up through the air. Trying to find some room here for Washington State. See if they can follow up, put up 2 back-to-back. Baylight's now working down into the zone. Baylight's had a pretty good showing there in the conference championships. Fitzy with the save. Galaxy going to come in with a challenge. Has Jubal in the middle. Great challenge is when Dexus is able to find the save and force that ball all the way back down. Lands in the orange corner. Mythic's going to chase it down, grab the boost, but here comes Baylight's putting the pressure on. Ball spits back up, so a bit of a fight along the wall. 1-1 here, and into game 1 of our Week 17 matchup. Baylight with the follow-up. That's going to go to the outside. Can't quite get it in the square. And a golden opportunity missed here from the Cougars. Clear comes through. Xavier headed back the other direction. Musketeers with a chance in transition. Fitzy with good protection along the near post. Ball spits all the way back out to midfield. Xavier able to do a good job of keeping it out of the zone, but haven't really developed much offense here over the past minute or so. When Texas with a bit of physical play. And Xavier looking to press the net here. Fitzy tried to chase down the ball. Mythic takes to the sky, and we'll play a bit keep away, and the rest of Washington State just fall back on defense. Here comes Xavier. Galaxy's look turned away. Didn't deflect. Fitzy trying to chase it down. A big touch Sends it all the way back towards the blue net. Galaxy's touch gets over when Dexius ball falling in a dangerous spot. Fitzy comes in from behind and makes that defensive touch. Mythic just casually sends it back towards the net. Grants Windexius save. Galaxy with an opportunity. Baylight steals it away. Pushes that ball to the outside. We remain at 1-1 as we approach our 2-minute mark. Galaxy coming out of the zone with it. Yeah, there you go. Good plays. Galaxy just casually strolls back behind the defense. Starts up high at midfield. Gets around Windexius. Stays above Baylights. Then this is going to be goal number 2. And Xavier, after minimal offensive presence over the past 2 minutes, are able to come up with the game-leading goal.
Yeah, certainly long awaited, but we're right back over to Xavier territory immediately after, and when Dex is going to try and put it away, will succeed with it, and we are tied back up.
We spent all this time at a tie game, all this time waiting for you to get back, Tenric, and then the moment you come back, that's about how long it took for that lead to go away.
I cursed it somehow. I found a way. We'll figure it out. But I mean, I feel like this is like the gravity of this match is really actually something that needs to be considered right now, because Washington State are putting up a good fight, at least in this first game. If this continues, even if Xavier, drops a good couple games and still wins both of these matches, that doesn't necessarily mean that they can even move up in the standings right now. If anything, it just means that they'll clinch that 12th place spot, but they want to get a better differential here than Southern Utah, who
they need to. Well, they need to have they need to have at least a +3 to even force it to that head-to-head matchup and tie the game differential with Southern Utah. So I mean, two game 5s isn't going to cut it for Xavier as far as moving up in the standings. It will at least hold them in their current spot at 12, but they gotta get at least 1 3-1, if not 2 3-1s, if they want to move up a class.
The tough thing is, like, you can prioritize a win here if you want to, which is a pretty good idea if you want to guarantee that you're not moving down. Because as long as Xavier win this game, then they will probably be 12. They might fall to 13, but they will probably be 12. As another goal by Galaxy will put Xavier back on top. Good bump back from Mythic there, keeping it interesting.
And Xavier able to break apart the defense. Only 24 seconds to go. I feel like Washington State have been out shooting them. But Xavier coming in with a couple of subs. They managed to make it work here. 2 back-to-back goals. Galaxy looking to put it home. And oh my. 95% of that ball was in the net, but not the entire 100. And Washington State now have a chance. 5 seconds remaining, headed towards the orange net when Dexus gets beat to the ball. Xavier trying to push it down. Fitzy will put it in the air. Mythic pushes it towards the orange net. Fitzy able to keep it alive, but Jubal Clary forces it all the way back down towards the Washington State side. And this is Xavier coming away with game 1.
A close one for sure, but one that will be in favor of Xavier. Now the question is, do they have the hang of it now? And wow, that is a big shooting differential, actually. 12-4 in favor of XU.
I thought it would be.
Wow, that is I did not expect that. Because Washington State had actually some pretty appealing control for a good portion of that game. I would have thought that it would show more in the numbers. But hey, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good surprise factor walking into game 2. Maybe Xavier thinks they have it all figured out.
Well, and for as much possession as Washington State had, Xavier didn't let that convert into opportunities towards their net. So, I mean, it does bode well for Xavier, particularly on the defense, because by my eye test, I definitely thought Washington State had more looks towards the goal. And it's because they had more possession. Xavier doing a good job protecting the third.
As mentioned, we were on West servers for game number 1, so it should be mentioned that Xavier had just about double, if not more, ping than Washington. Around 30 versus 80 for Washington and Xavier, respectively. And as Washington State was the losing team for that first game, we will go back to to those Western servers. So Xavier still having to endure that slight penalty to their ping. They beat it once, and they will beat it again, at least for this first goal, as Jubal will find that post-kickoff weakness and turn it into a 16-second goal.
Just gets it right over the head of Windexus. Nicely done. 16 seconds, and Xavier able to put one on. And it's something that they struggled with a little bit. I mean, it was only a 1-goal game there in game number 1, so that opening 16-seconder could be an important one as we go down the line, and Xavier are in the hunt to see if they can move up a rank in the standings.
Yeah, for all we know right now, every goal really does count that much. And so XU taking that early lead means a lot. It puts that very early pressure on Washington State that previously they had about a minute to sort of shake off, and then they were immediately able to relapse. But didn't do that here, and now that kickoff opportunity gone, XU keeping that keeping those tanks full, keeping those corners pretty congested, and now Mythic bobbing, weaving. That's one down. Fitzy brings it back, and Washington State doing a good job of blockading, but cannot counterattack at the moment. Double commit to the corner will lead Xavier to still have control in this corner of the pitch. The double commit onto Windexus will actually lead to WSU taking a bit more space, at least for a moment.
Yeah, it does end up back towards their goal. Fitzy's able to try to work around the other direction, see if they can get into the orange half. This time, slightly more success, but doesn't last for much longer. Galaxy just a little one-man band driving towards the net, able to get past one defender. Baylights comes through and protects against the follow-up shot. Now able to challenge Jubal at the midfield line, but Galaxy once again with a big touch. Galaxy's done a great job of coming through just the right moment and keeping the ball here in the blue half, allowing Xavier to take a lot of these offensive opportunities and take a lot of this space to work.
And you're seeing he's the one playing midfield more than anybody else, just continuing to hold down that line, playing at center stage most of the time. But when you find an opportunity, you just go for it almost. The goal for Xavier there. But sadly, they just have to settle for more possession, which I'm sure they're just brokenhearted about.
And Jubal's going to force Windexus out of the play. Galaxy takes another look at this one. Baylight's able to handle. But it's Xavier, I mean, putting on a lot of pressure this time around. A lot of more pressure here in this opening 2 minutes and 30 seconds than we saw in the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of game 1. A game that Xavier was able to come out on top. They've been in firm control thus far. As they head back to the defense, Jubal Curry slows down play with the ball up along the wall. Makes a bit of contact, is able to back into it just enough to allow Mythic to sneak past a couple. Gets past everybody headed towards the net. Jubal in the middle. Fitzy with a dangerous spot. Jubal Curry touches it and is just enough. The finesse escorts that ball into goal number 2.
Just enough indeed. Fitzy unfortunately unable to follow it just enough. And Jubal, right place, right time means the world at this stage in the game as XU take a twofold lead with only 2:11 left on the clock. Less and less time to act for the still budding Washington State University.
Timing is everything. And Jubal's timing spot on there in the back of that play. Didn't need to be anything fancy, just accurate and the right amount of finesse. Mythic coming in with a big challenge, and Washington State really struggling to get out of their own half. The pass to Mythic is on point, and Xavier increased the lead to 3.
And now we're on that roll. Now we're getting it going. Xavier getting the lockdown on this matchup. A squad that no doubt has a little less chemistry, a little less time practicing, but that's kind of the point. Having this roster just show again how many options Xavier can have going into the postseason and the next season even. Because this team is not done on either front. And they just look better and better and better over the course of the season. If they keep this pace up against USC, then I'm really, really excited. Even more so than I was already.
I mean, and there's a lot of exciting things here with the Xavier squad. And now we have things to be excited about for the future of this squad. Not just for what we've seen and grown to know and love in the past, but players like Galaxy will carry this forward, will carry the string of excellence forward. And I mean, Valor leaving the Xavier squad in good hands. Galaxy with goal number 4 in the lead equivalent here. Xavier looking to shut out Washington State in game number 2.
Yeah, this might be the mulligan for WSU to have that so late. Unfortunate, but Fitzy, great catch. post kickoff to grab that very quick goal for Washington State. Amazing recognition on that ricochet, and oh, good little bump on a Mythic as well.
Well, Washington State get rid of the goose egg. They're at least not going out completely silent. And still some time left. I mean, I've seen stranger things happen, Tenric. 3 goals in a $1.07, definitely doable. Fitzy driving towards the net, and Washington State looking a little bit more lively there after that goal.
Windexis opting to back out. Play for goal instead. A bit slower, but a little bit more reliable as well. As XU intend to just boom until the sun comes up. Galaxy, solo carry. That's goal number 5. XU trying to get on the road to Brazil by the end of this game, I think.
They're on track. They are certainly on track. Galaxy there with 2, 4 on the day for Galaxy. Xavier, keep the good times going. As they reclaim their once 4-goal lead and kind of stymie just any bit of momentum that the Cougars thought they were bringing forward. Xavier able to strip that away. Oh yeah. Oh, Galaxy almost had the hat. He's so close, so close.
Well, you might get 1 or 2 more tries here as Galaxy again getting around the bend. Double commit. They have left. WSU going to be stuck on match point here. Xavier going to try and speedrun this series, which is the MO that I think you need to go for, because that'll mean that as long as you win that USC match, you are a lock for that 11th place spot, which means so much more for that seeding. I mean, the difference in competition that you can find when you have that one extra bit of an edge can be so important.
I mean, and just the way they can determine your fates on how your bracket looks as a whole. You know, if you're not starting off against somebody that's that much tougher, and there's definitely a break in there. So moving up a couple slots would definitely help Xavier out. I mean, you talk about facing Butler or UTK versus facing Seton Hall. You know, it could be something like that.
I mean, you're actually talking about, facing off against Villanova versus facing off against Cincinnati if you're in the seeding that Xavier is right now.
Yeah,
and that's actually really huge because Cincinnati's been on a bit of a tiny decline lately in this tail end of the season. They've been showing up a little bit worse against these lower level teams. And so actually Xavier finding that extra edge, ooh, man, that could actually be big for their playoff run.
And Villanova's been hot. Villanova has been absolutely red hot. Horse and company are on a tear, and they're looking to finish on a winning note here. With Horse and Riley being seniors of that squad, they have nothing left to lose. They have to leave everything on the pitch here. So you do not want to face that Villanova squad if you're Xavier. They face each other in week 16. A bit of a rivalry there. Good friends here between Xavier and Villanova. And Xavier knows that if they can avoid them, I think it would work out better for him here. So yeah, I'd definitely take Cincy if I'm Xavier.
if that is the matchup, I'm getting wind that that group stage is before bracket actually, so seeding would be a little bit different, but seeding would still be better.
No, this is all speculation. We are not the final say in this. This is speculation, but it does really still show the importance of these games here and the importance of not letting Washington State take one off you.
Beyond game differential, which usually tends to be the decider, goal differential is still a factor. And if Xavier pushes it, then that is what it will also come down to. Make sure to watch that as well. And that game 2 certainly helped. And there's the immediate equalizer for Mythic. Xavier just trying to put a band-aid on that opener and take the game as just a 4-minute 30 game.
Okay, so that lead lasted all of 3 seconds.
Yep.
And we're right back to square one. Good kickoff here for Xavier. They look to drive back in. 13-2 in shots, by the way, in game 2, favoring Xavier. That's how much they were just camped out in the blue half of the pitch. They had like one of those permanent camping spots, you know, where you've got like the shower hookups and all that. Like it wasn't temporary. Xavier were setting up shop in the blue half.
Game 2 was played in the Western servers as well. As previously mentioned, Mythic's ping spiking up to 90 that game, about triple of what Washington had. And as Washington lost Game 2, we are still playing on those Western servers. A near full 10th of a second of a delay for some of these players, and yet grinding it out and still looking for a 3-0 victory. And to think they're going to have to endure this again because they're playing against USC next. Right after this, they're going to have to go right back to those Western servers.
Yep, Xavier taking a trip over to the West Coast for these 2 matches. And it's just been better reads from Xavier. They're in front of the play. They're on top of it. However you want to call it, they're ahead of Washington State in their reads. So even with a 10th of a second, that's just getting lost to lag. Xavier's able to stay out in front of the ball. They're able to make really good and impactful challenges, and it's allowed them to stay in the zone here, get opportunities like this that Mythic will capitalize on, and Xavier are right back in front.
Still a traffic jam in front of that goal, and yet Mythic makes it work. Just a nice jam that neither Windexus or Baylights were able to really fully recover. Actually, Windexus might have gotten the save if Baylights also hadn't gone for it. Depending on how that angle was, I don't have a clear view on it, but regardless, XU back in this lead, 3 minutes to go, and no immediate post kickoff like we've seen WSU being able to get away with a little bit here, as Fitzy will try to make me another caster curse, but will not work. In fact, it'll go in the exact opposite direction and give Xavier another goal.
Oh, just an unfortunate turn of events. And then a bit of a double commit there for Washington State, and Galaxy able to beat both of them. Nothing in the blue half but orange cars. That was one Washington State player trying to catch up to all 3 Xavier players. Beautiful read, good move from Galaxy, and a bit of an unforced error there from Washington to the midfield. Oh, Baylight's caught sleeping!
Wow. And that might be the match. That might be the series.
I think it's gonna be.
Man, that's a shame.
Which would put an end to Washington State season. Rank 18th, unfortunately, they are not eligible for nationals. Let's see. We saw them in the American Conference Championship over the weekend. As they went 0-2 there, I believe, dropping a very close Game 5 to North Dakota, and then losing in Southern Utah there in the lower bracket. So yeah, unfortunately, this will be the end of Washington State season. I look forward more to see more of them next year. See if they can come out and improve here on the what'll end up 3-13 season that they put up this year. Still some time in this clock, but Washington State have struggled for possession at all, much less to come back from a 4-goal deficit. I think it's safe to count this one done.
Yeah, this will actually be a pretty unfortunate drop as well, because as St. John's, the team directly below them in 19th, won their match tonight, they will be booted above them, so Washington State will go into 19th. But not just that, North Dakota will have a better game differential than them outside of that. So Washington State will actually fall to 20th after this match, which is really unfortunate because I don't think that standing reflects how good this team has the potential to be. I just think there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. Hopefully we see it in that offseason, but till then, Xavier are going to be able to tack on this first 3-0 victory that is so integral to making sure that they climb as far as they can tonight, which they will still have to do against USC directly after this match is done.
Yeah, I think highlight of the Washington State season would be beating Delaware 3-1. They're the only one of 3 teams to hand Delaware a loss. So making magic happen. I mean, Washington State can certainly pull it out and compete and really cause some upsets. So definitely a big highlight for them there. But as you were alluding to, Xavier just looking to finish this season strong, tack on as much as they can, try to move us high up in those standings as they can before heading into nationals.
I'm telling you, man, Xavier are your main characters tonight, playing both those middle matches, having the most impactful place in the standings right now because of how much they still have yet to play. And this USC match is going to be that highlight. 2 teams directly next to each other in the standings, both with really great performances so far this season, but just have not managed to consistently get a cut above with that upper echelon, trying to get those last few punches in before the national championship comes their way, and they must prove themselves time and again to even survive. But until then, Xavier, with 20 seconds left on the clock, going to try and find what more that they can to pad those stats just a little bit more, get those constellations to make sure that they can cement as much as they can already in their very solid season, which will end in just one more match after this one. But this being your penultimate one, great to cap it off with a 5-1 victory once more.
Yep, and Valor, their captain, aka Enzo, happy. Looking on to the squad and looking at what the future could look like for this Xavier team. I don't know. I mean, maybe Valor comes in for this next game, for this final game. Not sure. Not sure if they are here, if they're not here because they have other obligations, or if they're simply just giving some of the younger players an opportunity to go out and build some synergy and kind of get a preview of what Season 5 Xavier will look like. Either way, they're a happy senior right now after seeing this performance in this 3-0 victory.
Yeah, for sure. Either way, I'm excited to see what Xavier brings to the table, both in that postseason bracket and also, right after the break. We still got more Xavier to play with. Next time against University of Southern California. I'm not sure if we're looking for an interview,
I
or
don't
if Xavier
think
just wants
so.
to get. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, because
we're just
Xavier
gonna
are
get
playing
right into that
directly after
action.
this. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
let them get ready and get set up for that next one, I say. So yeah, we'll take a break. We're gonna get that set up. When we come back, it's Xavier USC. We'll be back in a few. And we are back here. We get another round of Xaviers. They are in for their second match of our doubleheader this week. This one going up against USC, and this one actually has some implications as far as standings are concerned directly.
Yeah, Xavier currently technically ahead of the University of Southern California, now even more so with that new 8-7 record. However, if they lose this, then Southern California will be ahead of them in the standings by a very slight margin despite the identical match standings. So this match is literally to prove who the better team is in the standings. Very high stakes for their simultaneous last match of the season.
And the map differential is exact, so that even if USC win in a 3-2, they would have the exact same game differential. And then USC winning here would be the head-to-head, so that would put them above, and USC would steal away that 12th place slot. So this is whoever wins takes the slot. Boom.
Is an exciting one. Xavier, also something to note that if they win this game, they will actually be booted up to 11th place ahead of Southern Utah University. So
Yep.
they actually have something more to play for other than just playing for defense of their own spot. They're playing to rise above even further and make sure that Southern California stay down put. Actually, never mind. Okay, yeah, I was trying to do math, seeing if Southern California would get demoted one rank
Dangerous.
if they lost this game, but they have too much of a round differential to make it matter. So they would still be in 13th even if they lost this match.
Well, let's shift focus a little bit just in that both these teams played in their conference championships over the weekend. Both teams came out in third place in their relative conferences. So it's a pretty neck and neck, pretty dead even in results, in records. These two teams very evenly matched as we get our third game of the night underway.
Enzo has come into the XU squad. They were warming up a little bit with a ranked game real quick. That's why we took a bit of a longer break. We do apologize for that, but it looks like it was worth the wait as Xavier will hop right into the action with a goal from Enzo.
Yeah, I was talking about how the captain was watching on with a smile on their face there in our last game. Well, they were tired of watching on, wanted to get involved, and, well, wasted zero time coming in and scoring our first goal of the series. As Enzo, a.k.a. Valor, a.k.a. the captain senior of this Xavier squad, heart and blood of the Musketeers Rocket League, here for their final game of the regular season. One of the final games we get to see them play in their collegiate career.
And this is against such a tough squad as well. Squid, VTR, and Wordy, they have been doing so much legwork over the course of this season. They found some really sneaky wins and have brought a lot of matches a lot closer than many people have initially favored them for. We will be seeing them in the Nationals, which I'm so excited for because I love this team so much. But XU's story right now, the dream run to make it up to 11th, is too enticing for me. And the fact that they are once again on Western servers in game 1-2, losing that coin toss for the second consecutive time.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out on the West Coast. Out here trying to prove East Coast, Beast Coast. Against Southern California squad based out of LA. The Trojans driving in right now, but behind in game one. Good look here, but Wordy's not able to find the follow-up. A late touch goes wide for Squid. They get demoed for their efforts as well. And Xavier should be able to stabilize, though USC are keeping a little bit of pressure on.
Yeah, they're still trying to recover, and it's a little slow going at the moment for Xavier. VTR able to break away here. Galaxy having to put everything into the tank and just barely gets a slice of that contest. Mythic unable to get a favorable 50, so now Enzo has to hop back into the mix. VTR finds a favorable touch as well, and USC is getting the better end of a lot of these touches. They just have not been able to connect that into a goal yet, but the way this is looking, it's only a matter of time before we see a tied-up game unless Xavier act quickly. Galaxy attempting to break out. That's the first favorable touch they've had in quite some time, and they'll make it work. Mythic back pass from the corner. Enzo not able to fully catch it, actually, so USC is back in control.
Mythic back pass was a little too hard. Goes behind the defense, goes behind Valor. Xavier do recover as Valor pushes it to the outside. We'll call it by Enzo today. Why not? They're on their Enzo tag. We'll use the Enzo name. Same player, same person, same great leader. Here are the Musketeers, and it's Mythic to Galaxy to set up this opportunity. One that Squid's going to have to use all their boosts to get up and deny. Enzo fighting for the corner, but Vitor comes away with it. Drops it down to Wordy on the outside. Galaxy had a look at that ball. Decides to drop back for the boost instead. Let Mythic come up and challenge. Ooh, both teams whiff there. An important ball. Oh, my.
Yeah, Xavier completely whiffing on both those touches, and it leads to Worry finding the off angle. And USC have finally caught up with fate. Tied up 1-1 with 81 seconds on the clock, amping it up in the 11th hour. Can they turn that into a newfound lead?
I say, oh no, not because I'm disappointed that the Trojans are able to tie up this game, but just more so that it comes on such a blatant error from Xavier. As they've been looking good the whole time and just absolutely fumble it in that defense, and it makes for an easy goal. Now the Trojans threatening for the lead. Squid shot's going to go up high. Wordy might get a look at this. Mythic's able to beat them to the rebound shot, and Xavier defused that situation. 60 seconds on the clock.
Squid backing into it. USC losing a little bit of a grip. Mythic the demo. Enzo, the better part of the touch. Mythic backing into it. And a traffic jam leading to tragedy in the corner. And Wordy, a better bounce. VTR, a better arc. Squid has the setup. Galaxy interrupts just in time. Huge boom potentially for Xavier, but even so, the better angles, the better touches have always been for California. So close to a goal there, but no cigar.
Oh, Enzo saving the day. Mythic with a shot here. That one's going to get pushed out wide. But Enzo with the best save of this game thus far has kept us tied in the final minute. Mythic trying to work along midfield. Wordy to Vitor is going to push it across the line. Wordy screaming in. It's along the wall, but Squid gets demoed there in the mid, and we will see OT here for this first game.
First time tonight that we've taken it to overtime for any of these matches, and I'm so glad that it's the match we anticipated to be the closest and also the most important of the night. Now taking it outside regulation, Mythic trying to drag it, BTR, get a better end of it, huge carry, still a little bit of boost left, but can't follow it all the way instead. Tries to find that better position. Now USC going to attempt to dry XU out on these corners, which they are normally so strong on, and they will get the better end of it. Enzo, huge boom away. Wordy, not a better touch, and it's Xavier that takes game one.
In overtime fashion, no less. And it's the captain stepping up, scoring the only 2 goals here for the Musketeers. And they survive and take our first and only overtime game of the night thus far. Xavier one step closer to moving up in the standings.
And we go right back to Western servers. I mean, look at that ping difference. 76 to 12. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Xavier playing through rain and snow and uphill 5 degrees, 5 miles, walking both ways. They're doing it all. It's insane.
They're walking 5 degrees up the snow in both mountains. I don't know, something like that.
You got what I was going for.
It's been a heck of a trek here for the Musketeers, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, they're not done either. They've got more left to this journey. If they want to be able to regale the youngins about the days of old where they had to travel up 5 degrees, both rains in the 2 mountains, to get this victory. I broke 10 minutes. I'm sorry, I broke 10
again. You'll see.
Are you actually looking? Are you looking up the metaphor? Please tell me you're not googling the metaphor.
No, I'm looking at the brackets. I'm doing my research, bull skunk.
Sure.
Once again, heading back to Western servers, XU, trying to get a better shredded kickoff. I really do think, all things considered, USC had better mechs that game. I'm not going to lie. I think they were much more consistent with touches, much more consistent with contests, but XU just had way better counterattacks. Just finding that rogue hole in the wall and pinching it through every single time. Really impressive stuff. But can you continue that through an entire series against a team that really does meet your match?
It's been super close. I mean, overtime at game 1. I mean, it doesn't speak any closer than that. It doesn't get any closer than that. Vitor working out of the back half right now. Galaxy with a good intercept. Nice follow-up touch. Trying to set something up here for Valor, but the defense holds. Gets a demo, in fact, to try to help them escape the zone. Mythic is right there, right on top of it. Xavier aren't giving him an inch. Enzo with a shot in. Bit lackluster. Easily dealt with. Enzo's going to get bumped off the play, but the ball's still here in the orange half. Vitor shoves it all the way across the other side, trying to disrupt the Xavier play, and eventually gets this over the line. No! Enzo once again with the important touch, and USC once again on the defense.
These really sudden losses of velocity have been really crucial for XU to continue attacking. On both sides, really. It's been prevalent, but like a disease plaguing USC's end of the pitch. Despite Mythic's demo, we're back in blue territory, and Vitor double held. Galaxy cannot find height.
What a challenge. What a challenge.
Shot. What a challenge indeed.
Oh my, that one, yeah, that was a bold challenge from Squid. Squid misses that. This is an easy goal the other direction. There was nobody behind Squid, and Xavier was about to run into a 3v1, just barring a respawn. Or would have been somebody, it would have been a 3v1, and the one had about 30 boosts to deal with it. Instead, Squid succeeds on that challenge, setting up Vitor. And now USC in the lead in the first 2 minutes of game 2.
Huge breakaway here by Enzo. Squid gets better spawn, but cannot recover in time. And XU will punch right back. We are no stranger to this pacing, are we, Bullskunk?
No. And neither is the Xavier squad, as they waste 0 time. Say, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. No, 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 no. You cannot have that, USC. This was not part of the contract. When Xavier has come to rightfully claim what is theirs, then, well, it's at least a stalemate. They have claimed the stalemate. Yes, Tenrick, it's their stalemate to claim.
Xavier trying to find a way to turn their 0-round differential at the beginning of today to a +6 by the end. A monumental shift that, again, creates such big waves in the playoff environment that are all looking up for Xavier. If they can continue this, if they can find the lead here, if they can hold on to it, and if they can finish things off before USC starts to be as consistent as they need to be to completely outmatch them. Once again, 95% of the way in, Xavier cursed by every semblance of that goal, and we continue with a tie score.
And not just the game differential, that would improve drastically, but 9-7 reads a whole lot better than 7-7 on your season record. Mythic had that number in their sights. Oh, it was so close. Enzo here from above. Oh, the double tap goes wide.
Vitor stopping. Good pass back to Squid. Good 50 for Squid. Enzo making it back, though. Still against the backboard. USC up on the ropes. Galaxy tries to break away with it, but XU continues to get congested and stuck back in this third. That is just not favorable at all. They work so well with their corner boosts. They can hold defenses for so long, but they need to break out. They need to find goals.
USC, it's been hard to come by. I'm going to drop one in here just in hopes that Squids can do something with it, but no such luck. Galaxy with a wonderful touch here. It's a 2v1 going the other direction. Mythic not able to handle the pass, and it'll bounce out of the corner favorably towards USC. Have to chase it back down, but Squid's able to pick up that corner boost and elude Enzo long enough. But Mythic through the skies with a good touch forces a defensive rotation back out of USC. And the Trojans still struggling to break in the half. Squid's going to get a look here, even a shot on goal. Nothing the Galaxy can't deal with. Rotation, good bounce. Vitor slams it home. USC have the lead.
What a huge step in the match that we've just seen. And of course, it has to be Vitor pulling all of the strings. Unfortunate attempt at recovery right in front of that goal. That's a risky position to take, but XU were left with practically no other options. USC playing this attrition to a T. If they can continue doing this like we've seen them do basically all match so far, then this is going to be an easy resurgence.
Oh, and another just rough mistake from Xavier that gives up a really important goal. This one coming in the form of contact in the net. 2 players there running into each other as USC steal the lead. 30 seconds to go, and the Trojans have been able to put on so much more offense here in this past minute. Threatening for goal number 3, not able to happen. Wordy passing it back. Vitor misses it, but so does Galaxy. Mythic comes through trying to punch it out. Pinches it. Wanted it more towards mid. Enzo just barely able to get a piece of it. Is it enough? Can Xavier scramble and pull this thing together in the final seconds? Vitor's going to get a touch here. Goes behind the defense. Xavier might have a chance to keep this ball up in the air. Galaxy tries to pinch it out. It's going to land on Squid's hood, and it's just USC who get a look at the goal. Xavier will drop one. We're headed into game 3, tied up.
Wow. Finally, we get out of Western servers, don't we? That's the moral of the story here. But, man, USC really making it hurt that game. And they made it look really, really good. Again, mechanically superior over the course of that entire game. I think they were in game 1 as well. This time they were able to just translate it to goals a lot more consistently. I just need to continue seeing that. That's all.
I mean, it worked out for them. It's still, I mean, Southern California were still outshot. They still weren't able to get as much presence as their opposition. More presence than we saw from them in game 1 for sure. And it improved over the course of game 2. Still not as much as Xavier, though. I mean, you know, they're able to put it in when it matters. 2 goals converting on 6 shots versus the 1-9 on the opposition. So USC getting it done when it counts. Heading into game 3, I mean, have the tides turned? Do the Trojans have this one in their grasp, or is it still kind of nebulous? It still feels up in the air to me.
I think it definitely is. Because, again, I think Xavier has those shining moments a little more often, and they're able to find those needle in a haystack shots really, really quickly. I'm really impressed by their communication as well. They always seem to know how to defend properly and how to keep that defensive cycle going for a while. They just can't keep it going forever. And that's kind of how a lot of game 2 was, wasn't it? USC just continuing to force them to play the way that doesn't let them score. XU needing to break out of that. How about right after kickoff? That's a good way to start it. Unfortunately, losing control after the first 10 seconds, and USC back in the right territory. Squid almost a shot on target.
We've also seen, I mean, 2 critical errors from Xavier. Almost had a breakout chance for him there. Good rotation from USC defensively. But 2 critical errors out of Xavier that have both resulted in goals. And both games 1 and 2 were 1-goal games. Now it's Galaxy who's able to open up scoring. And this is exactly what Musketeer fans wanted to see, as Galaxy gets behind 2, has a straight shot at the goal.
USC not expecting him to come that quickly. Very well done. That's the kind of response time you need if you want to take this match convincingly, which is what XU would prefer. It's what USC would prefer, even, to take this match handsomely, to find as much room to wiggle in those standings as possible. But XU have that first opportunity here in the next breaking point of the series. In game number 3, Mythic off the backboard, both whiffs! And so Galaxy tries to pick it up and continue the roll. Good carry, good amount of time wasted for Enzo to get inside. And within the first minute, XU has made it a 2-0 game.
It was a good setup from Xavier, then it gets a little bit sloppy in the mid. But Enzo comes through with a nice finish, catches the ball on the way down. Everybody from Xavier getting involved with it. Everybody getting a couple of taps on it. It's the final touch from Valor. That is the difference maker. And now Xavier with the 2-goal lead. Vitor just cuts that in half, though, immediately off kickoff.
And Xavier getting a taste of their own medicine as of tonight. As Vitor, what an angle. Too fine. Great confidence. I mean, you have to know you can make that shot to hit something like that, and Vitor always hits those. USC, a foot in the door once more, almost swiped away immediately after, and now Enzo, the dagger, right back. And they do know how it tastes, but they want to keep feeding USC it.
Yeah, I mean, Vitor did good to get that initial touch on the ball. It was a good play from Xavier just to get the ball back behind the defense. And, I mean, USC scrambling. Fortunate it didn't go in sooner, but eventually the defense is caught off position. Xavier are there. Valor with goal number 5 in the series. Xavier with a firm lead here. Wordy trying to strike back. Able to muscle past a couple. Here comes the cavalry, and USC are not done here. Pass from Vitor. Ball gets pushed right back out, going midfield. Enzo wants one here in the counter punch. Can't get it past Wordy. Xavier trying to play out of the corner now, but not even able to maintain possession.
USC such champions of presence, but XU just monopolize their own corner boosts. They're really, really good at it. They force USC to back away a little too quickly right now. 3 minutes on the clock, though. A lot of time for this team to mature again like they did before. Not sure if that was a whiff or not, but either way, USC defending against potential goal number 4. Hard to keep control for either of these sides, and so we see a lot of control around that middle third. Another attempted approach by Mythic, but no support immediately. Galaxy, though, as the altitude has a little bit of boost down to Enzo, and strikes it 4-1, Xavier.
Valor with Hattie here, a.k.a. Enzo. Galaxy with a beautiful pass, able to go through, and, well, Valor just finds it. There wasn't much of an opening there. Valor is able to make it happen. Just a little bit high and right in between dead center of the two defenders. It's a good placement, and you know what? Let's tack up another one. That one was so nice it should count twice. 5-1 to Xavier.
And we're not even halfway through this game 3. How far can Xavier take this? How far can California take this? There's still time for them to bring this game back, even. And I see them feasibly doing that, unless Xavier just knows how to run away with games, because we've seen them able to do that pretty frequently, even in games against teams much better than them and USC.
I will say, in 12.5 minutes, USC has put up 4 goals. It's exactly what they would need here in the remaining 2 minutes plus if they want to send us to that OT. So, quite the feat here set out before the Trojans. At least they're able to get into the blue half for now, but Mythic and Galaxy are playing a little bit of keep away, and Morty has to spin everything just to push the ball in, but a nice setup allows VTR to score. It wasn't pretty. It was just... This is just physical. This is just tenacity out of USC to get another one on the board.
Yeah, I don't know why XU still held so much passivity in that attempted hold when they know that USC is going to get in your face, especially Vitor. That's very uncharacteristic, and I'm confused as to why XU didn't try to hold their ground a little bit better there. But now that 3-goal lead permeating again, all the time in the world for Southern California to flip this right back the other direction. I do still think they are mechanically the better team. They have been on the better side of these chows for basically the entire series, including this game. But Xavier has had more goals, and that is what matters at the end of the day. USC, another big clear back to the corner, but Enzo continues the velocity right back over to midfield, which is still held. Good shot down the middle, maybe as Wordy adjusts and makes it in.
Okay. Okay, 2 goals in a $1.30. Sounds a lot more feasible than 4 goals in $2.30. USC, I had talked about how it took them 12.5 minutes to score the 4 goals we saw. Well, they have scored 2 in the past 60 seconds. And Xavier are suddenly, they've got to beat a sweat on their brow.
Oh, I think they're sweating buckets by this point, especially after that first match where they already had to lay it all out on those Western servers, which, by the way, they are not on for this game. And so now both teams getting more goals than they've scored basically the entire rest of the series so far. Very telling to me about how both of these players like to play on their home turf. XU starting to get a little more braggadocious about it. Their comms are much cleaner now that they have a third of the time difference between them and this server. 58 seconds to go. The goal has been re-extended to 3.
It's a good read from Xavier, just get behind the defense. Just a very fast play. They're able to rate it. USC was investing heavier and heavier, pushing up further and further. Xavier, they work fast. Great transition goal. And they get some of that lead right back and kind of deflate USC a little bit. As you can see, the confidence starting to swell. Xavier had to poke a hole into that bubble and do so. And Enzo will continue to tack on, and the 4-goal lead has been regained in its totality.
Wow. What an amazing way to just play right back from Xavier. Insane possession this past minute, basically. And now this game is conceivably a wash. They have completely twisted it back. I am once again stunned and impressed by this Xavier squad. They will very probably bring us to match point in 30 seconds here and do it with a lot more advantages on them before they before they entered this match.
Valor with 8 goals on the day. aka Enzo, playing under the Enzo tag today. Captain Senior here from Xavier, leading them to victory in Game 3, hopefully in the series. In a great spot here to close out the series and finish off this final season of Valor's on a win. Looking to finish the season 9-7, one game away from accomplishing that.
But in order to get it done in 4, we have to head back over to those Western servers where Xavier began to struggle before they got to bring it back over. So we'll see how they can bring that very offensive talent that we got to see, especially by the second half of that game, and if they can translate that back to USC's home turf.
It was a 7-3 defeat, a very dominant performance from Xavier. So, I mean, if they can't get it done here, then we'll head back to the East servers for Game 5. But I'd say right now, I mean, clear advantage going to Xavier, both in how good they looked in Game 3 and their ability to just stack up goals like there's no tomorrow. Valor with 5 of them, so there's that edge just right out of the gate. But then strategically, right now, they have the cards, they have all the cards that they need to take this series. So Trojans, it's up to them to come and steal the advantage back. That's all there is to it. Just time to step up.
Yeah, the confidence from USC was really waning in that last 40 seconds
Yeah.
of the previous game as well, and it's very understandable as to why. You can't let that bleed into game number 4. You know, you cannot let that continue. You have to play with the scoreboard. It is back to 0-0. It is back to that square one where USC has already won a game. They can easily win 2 more if they just play as the better team.
When they're able to shut down Valor, that's when they're winning games. I think that's the key moving forward. Can the Trojans keep Enzo quiet? That is the question. That's the $1 million question. If the answer is yes, USC win. Answer is no, Xavier go to 9-7.
I think secondary to that, how much can Xavier stop Vitor? Because he's been on the exact same kinds of tears that we've seen Enzo on, haven't we? He has been the front runner for scoring these goals, an impeccable striker who has found some really stellar off angles and has gotten better challenges than anybody else on USC, and they've all gotten very favorable challenges for the most part.
Oh yeah, Vitor's been a highlight of this Trojan squad all year long. That certainly has not changed today. But a pleasant surprise, one of my favorite newcomers actually here in EGF. If I had to pick a favorite rookie, I mean, Vitor would be up there.
Yeah, I think, for me, Vitor probably. I'm a sucker for the Hawaii squad. They have a lot of new rookies this year. And although they haven't really done incredible, they also are in Hawaii, so I tend to cut them a whole lot of slack. But they have a constantly shifting roster. I think at least half of which is rookies, and I really love those guys.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Xavier with an early lead. One that could result in a 3-1 victory here. Galaxy coming up with goal number 1. Enzo and Mythic colliding a bit. And it just kind of means that attack falls apart and the ball ends up getting behind them. Again, just one of these mistakes. Xavier don't make a ton of mistakes, but when they do, they seem to be pretty costly.
Yeah, there's another potential
there it is.
one. Yeah, Vitor able to find the lineup. I mean, somehow had enough time for that as well, because there was not much speed behind that touch-up. Enzo just barely missing out.
And that is the 3rd goal we've seen in this series. That is directly as a result of just an unforced error from Xavier. That one a bit of a collision. Matter of fact, 2 of those 3 errors have been just players colliding with each other. So, it opened the door here. USC, great job to capitalize on it. Long distance shot from Enzo, though, finds the upper 90. And Enzo scores from across the pitch. This was from a different area code.
Golly, that's after Mythic couldn't pick it up. What an arc. And it's not like even needed to stick it there. He had a lot of space. He probably could have just shot it. But I love the security. I love the concession that USC could have been anywhere. Now back ahead, have to hold it down for 3:30. They did this with a much more extended lead, but they also did this with much less ping last game. Let's see if they can continue this streak and prove that they are indeed the better team. Put it on paper, put it in writing officially. Vitor saying I want to change those history books just as much, and will tie us back up once more. What else did you expect from him?
Well, I mean, we're talking about the importance of Xavier shutting down Vitor right now. I mean, Galaxy just feeds Vitor the ball right on the line, prime shooting spot. And Galaxy drops it right in front of the Trojans' leading scorer for the tying goal. And it is 2 on the board here, both of them courtesy of Vitor. And Vitor looking to strike again. A big challenge there against Mythic is going to be a turnover here, and USC are back on the attack.
And so much time wasted over here, not just because you are playing on this side, but because you've also exited kickoff and immediately put on that pressure. Xavier really excelled at these kickoffs, but once you get outside of them and immediately put on that pressure, Xavier, very limited time to get that defensive cycle rolling again and have those corner boosts active enough to be able to consistently defend. So preying on those slight weaknesses, USC had a chance there, but XU able to hold it down at least this time around. As we enter the halfway mark of game number 4, Mythic maybe having a shot, everyone else getting in the way of it though, and USC continuing to have just enough at the table.
Vitor with good presence to be in position, block that rebound. Mythic drops to Galaxy. Galaxy challenged by Vitor at the line. A great challenge indeed. Could set up Squid, but Squid's not even going to handle on that ball. Enzo with the patience, now with the boost. Galaxy with the touch. Enzo trying to chase it down, but Squid was able to get up in the sky. Block the ball at the line. Enzo now was going to challenge Vitor over. Wardy comes in for some help, and USC keep it in the blue half. $1:50 to go, tie game. Xavier on match point here in game 4 as Mythic gets it over Wardy. No, good move from Wardy. Good cut. Back to Vitor, a 1v2. Will lose out that ball, and now Mythic has a chance at the goal. Xavier are the ones pressing the issue with 90 seconds to go, but Xavier loses control, and the back and forth continues.
Indeed, it does. Squid back up against this corner. Enzo locked up by the demo. Vitor, bad touch though. And XU can get it away. Wordy will be the first to recover it though. Mythic rushing down to it is actually going to be able to steal it back. No velocity behind it. Enzo in time, but not a better touch on it. And XU, they need to make sure not to lose this here. It's looking a little volatile, and Mythic can put it away. XU takes the lead back.
Galaxy off the wall, barely beats Wardy, gets it off the back wall to beat Vitor, sets up Mythic, perfectly placed, perfectly timed. Xavier steal the lead, 62 seconds to go. What an incredible play, and Xavier so close to closing this one out. Vitor here might have a chance to tie it, but it's Wardy taking the shot. Just can't put enough power on it.
But there's still 50 seconds to go here, and USC is retaining control. Minimal control, but control nonetheless. Squid enough in the corner for Wardy to come back. Now Vitor controlling the other corner. Bot back to midfield, just in the upper 90. Crossbar. USC's greatest enemy. Galaxy over to Mythic to the backboard. Almost on target, but Xavier now trying to maintain that control for this last 30.
Enzo fighting for it in the corner. Vitor gets the touch over to Squid. Everybody from USC fighting it out, trying to get the ball out of there. Galaxy with a really important move. Forces that ball out. Takes the ball out of the goal. 15 on the clock. Mythic will get the touch. Vitor screaming in behind him. Steals the ball away. Good touch from Wardy. It goes into the blue half. Squid waiting for it in the middle. Goes up. Galaxy beats him to it. Pushes it back out to midfield. Vitor waiting for it. 3 on the clock. Mythic with the steal. Wardy trying to chase it down. Mythic will keep the ball in the air. Galaxy actually keeps it up as well. This is looking like Xavier's game. All they got to do is spike the ball to the ground or in the goal. Either way, it's the Musketeers who will win. They succeed. They are victorious. Xavier finish off the season strong to back-to-back wins. They will end at 9-7. They will move up 1 in the standings, taking that 11th place slot.
A huge clinch for these protagonists of the night. I'm so proud of this Xavier squad and how much they've been able to accomplish, and carrying that into the national championships is going to be so exciting. Big congratulations to Xavier University. Of course, huge props to University of Southern California, who will still be in that 13th place spot, still have a solid chance at those national championships. I'm really excited to watch that squad as well.
Yeah, neither of these teams are done. We will see both of these teams in nationals, so and perhaps even playing against each other. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be a fun rematch? But hey, you know what? It's time for an interview. We actually get a chance to talk to Xavier after their back-to-back doubleheader. So bear with us a moment. We're going to get Galaxy in here for a little chat. We're going to take a break. When we come back, winner's interview. Gotta love it. We'll see you then. All right, we've got Galaxy in here from Xavier. Have a little chat. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to come talk with us. Congrats on back-to-back dubs there to close out the regular season.
Thank you.
So you know we know Valor is going to move on. Is going to be graduating here. Has had a long tenure in EGF with the Xavier squad. Are you going to be the one picking up the mantle? Are you the one that's going to take that captain's hat and kind of brush off the dust a little bit, get it to fit your size?
Absolutely. This is Valor's last year here at Xavier, which is sad. I'll miss him. He's kind of taken me under his wing these past 4 semesters here at Xavier, and couldn't thank him enough for it.
Well, ending the season with a solid record, having that last hurrah in the national championships. What's the vibe for the team going into that? How are the dynamics?
Um, Going forward in the EGF championships on April 22nd, I believe. We'll be playing with Valor and hopefully Brosif, be both of their last hurrahs in that. So just want to give them that opportunity to play, and it's really just a blast being able to play with both of them.
It's a blast watching them. I'm really looking forward to that. For everybody at home, we did confirmation the 22nd of April will be nationals, so we did confirmation on that. Something to look forward to, and very much looking forward to see the last hurrah out of Valor and Broseph. I mean, again, legends, like just legends here in EGF. If there's one thing, Galaxy, if there's one thing that our Lord and Valor has taught us, what has the captain handed down to you? What life lesson has Valor passed on to you that you're going to carry forward and try to instill on future generations of Musketeer Rocket League players?
If I had to say one thing, it would be to still be competitive, but to also have confidence in yourself. Like, I feel like that's been a pretty big struggle with me, just with the stress and everything from EGF. It's kind of stressful, but he always reassures me that have confidence in yourself. You're a good player, and that's really one big main takeaway I've gotten from him.
That's huge. Hey, I mean, faith in yourself is one of the hardest things to get, to be perfectly honest. That is a universal struggle right there, my friend. Hey, we really appreciate you coming to talk with us. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you get out of here?
Yeah, shout out my teammates tonight. Jubal Clary, Mythic, and Valor, of course. And shout out Xavier Esports. It's constantly growing and getting more budgeting and funding, and we're starting to see growth.
Hey, you're a big part of that, my friend. You're a big part of that. All right. Well, hey, thanks again. Good luck at Nationals. Congrats on finishing the season strong.
Thank you.
There you go. That was Galaxy sophomore from Xavier University. And the future here for this squad and your future of collegiate esports as a whole. As we're all fighting to get this thing off the ground, right? Like it's still, it's still a fight each and every day. Anyway, moving forward, our last and final game officially of season 4, at least in regulation. Seton Hall taking on Georgetown when we return for the final game of the night. We'll see you back here in a few. And we are here for one last final go around here for season 4 regular season. It's your last game. It's been a long road. We've been going since what, like October, September, or something like that. And it's all boiled down to this one final game.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that it's finally over. Of course, the regular season. There's still a whole lot more Rocket League and other games to play, but yeah, finishing it up with Georgetown University taking on Seton Hall University. Two stories, two teams that could not be more different walking into this game.
Uh, yeah, this is opposite ends of the spectrum. Georgetown currently sitting at 1-14, in 22nd in the rankings. Seton Hall sitting in fourth at 13-2. Just coming off the back of a win in the Big East Conference, their third win in 4 seasons, so 3 times Big East champs. Seton Hall. And another team that's just got a storied tenure here in EGF. Absolute legends. Tone, Stokely, Froze, Jimbo. This squad commands respect every time they step on the pitch, and I'll be sad that we won't get to see them as a whole again next season.
Yeah, it's a real shame that we have so many players leaving after this season. It is kind of wild. Like we're having a mass exodus after this season, especially in Rocket League. Really unfortunate, but at the same time, quite exciting. As we will give one last hurrah to EGF Season 4 Rocket League. Seton Hall versus Georgetown. Last best of 5 of regulation play.
And of course, again, I mean, we will have nationals, and obviously Seton Hall will be a big name. We'll be keeping an eye on through nationals. Woo! Was almost an early goal for Georgetown right out of the gate off the post. Oh man, what a turn that would be! What a start that would be! Nobody in their right mind is expecting Georgetown to take this dub over Seton Hall. No shame to Georgetown by any means. Don't get me wrong, friends. But on paper, this is a heavily favored matchup for the Pirates.
Yeah, Seton Hall is coming fresh off of winning their conference bracket. Pretty easily, for that matter. In fact, nobody got over 2 games against them over the course of the entire bracket. They were the 1 seed for a reason. They are this high in the standings for a reason. Georgetown's only win came in November, and it was a forfeit. So, yeah, the deck is a little bit stacked against these Georgetown players. But it doesn't mean that they can't gain space. They play neutral pretty well. It's just goal scoring on target tends to be their biggest issue, just completion. Which can be a real struggle for teams that are good mechanically, but just don't have enough time in the game necessarily.
And especially against a defense as experienced as Seton Hall. I mean, it takes some real magic. You know, you're not going to get any freebies. You rarely see defensive errors coming out of the Pirates. You really have to pick apart and muscle apart their defense. As Tone and the rest of Seton Hall have just shown Georgetown.
Should actually be said that Seton Hall did drop last week's match
They
to
did,
UConn.
against UConn. Yes, they did.
Yes, I feel like that's an important note to make. Almost ending their season with a huge upset, and then instead winning the conference championships, and now getting to play against Georgetown, which again is a matchup that they are probably going to win. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for Georgetown fans, but Seton Hall is just such a storied team. They have so much more experience at such higher levels, and they have for quite some time. Georgetown, again, they're a team that I can't wait to watch in the future because they are really grinding. I think they're in at least one conference other than EGF as well. Couldn't really get their feet off the ground this season, but I can't wait to see what they have in store next time around.
Absolutely. I love watching the growth and how our teams evolve, and Georgetown I definitely think is one that will grow quickly, going through the seasons. Seton Hall is continuing to show off their excellence. And it's interesting, so you were talking about the record of Seton Hall, and I wanted to point this out. They were flawless, and I mean 3-0 flawless in 7 of their 8 games in fall. Oh, Palm Breeze! Oh, gets denied. Palm Breeze had a good look. What a great save from Seton Hall. 7 perfect 3-0 games for Seton Hall in fall. Lose 1-3 to UTA. 7 3-0 perfect games for Seton Hall in spring. Lose 1-3 to UConn.
That's crazy, actually. That's awesome. I love that. That's such a fun little numbers thing.
I love stats. I love stats.
Yeah.
These kind of things make me giddy.
No, that's so fun. All right, wow. This is a very low-scoring game. I'm very impressed by how Georgetown has been able to maintain a pretty solid amount of pressure, actually. Seton Hall has had a lot of trouble, keeping the ball out of their own half.
and really developing any kind of offense.
Yeah. I mean, they dispersed intentionally. They might be having some fun with it.
Sure, just trying to not rack up goals.
Yeah, I think they are.
That is absolutely possible.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the way that they're doing it, we've seen other teams do it in kind of a more disrespectful manner, but I genuinely think Seton Hall is doing it not necessarily as a very disrespectful thing, although there is a bit of BM in it, every time. But I like
inherently
them handing themselves this like extra challenge, letting Georgetown get nice and close and have some fun scoring opportunities, because Georgetown, again, they have some great mechs in them. And I think that they have the potential to be a really solid team next season. But Seton Hall has it a lot more put together, and it is a great team to test yourself on. Georgetown, so far, unfortunately, not able to break through those gates. Coming very, very close. But it will probably be Seton Hall taking this game, depending on how they finish this. Legal Eagle will actually take a nice little a bump over to force Seton Hall to once again play a little more aggressively and a little more seriously. In fact, Froze is just going to go for a flip shot real quick with the carry. Tone keeps it in the right half, and Seton Hall will kill this ball. Yep. It's going to be that first game going to SHU.
Two great saves from Serene throughout that.
Yeah.
She's able to, both against, I actually think both were against Stokely on that one, or maybe one against Stokely, one against Froze. But two brilliant saves. Able to get down a block a ground pinch against Froze a little bit early on, and then that big save there towards the end. You know, you're talking about the mechanical prowess of this squad, and I mean, and it's definitely there for Georgetown. Don't let the 1-14 record fool you into thinking that they don't have any kind of skill or they don't have chops. They've got it. They just got to pull it all together and get it functioning as one.
Yeah, and this being your last game, definitely a little bit discouraging if you're not looking on the bright side of things. But I do think there's a silver lining to almost being a jobber in that last match. I think that Georgetown is playing with absolutely no pressure right now, and they're kind of gliding over it all. You know, they're kind of making sure that they're covering their tracks. They're still playing, balls to the wall. They're really trying to sink their teeth into it, and I think they're taking some great chances because of it. Their chemistry's never looked better. Their three-man cycle is looking really stable, and they look like a really good team. I think Seton Hall is giving them that respect and just playing them just to the point where they're able to win. But no farther than that, because Georgetown, I think, does not deserve, the bludgeoning that Seton Hall may have the potential to want to give to them.
Well, and I think this also speaks to the evolution of EGF as a whole and how much the teams have grown as a whole. As we will see Froze here with an early goal for Seton Hall. But I think in previous seasons, a matchup of this discrepancy between, your top five versus a bottom five, the bottom five team wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what they're supposed to do to stop that top five team from building an attack. And that's not the case anymore. Georgetown know how they need to rotate. Like, they're doing a good job of intercepting Seton Hall's passes, of kind of disrupting what they want to do on the offense. Yeah, Seton Hall is probably not playing up to the tempo that we have seen them play before. But still, Georgetown know what they need to do to execute. Sometimes you're not quite able to get up to the ball.
Seton Hall just moved very fast. Simple as that. Georgetown almost able to catch up. Again, I love how many chances they're taking. I love how they're trying to challenge. I love how they're getting in front of this ball as much as possible, and they're very successful. Seton Hall just on that different caliber, though. And Georgetown, while they're making ground and while they're definitely having some good shots, some good chances, Seton Hall undoubtedly controlling this game.
And they do have a bit of a mastery over it. I mean, Seton Hall, a CRL competitor, they are just a step above as far as the quality of their play. And a legendary squad. I mean, it's not magic. It didn't come out of nowhere. The squad has been playing together for 4 years. It feels like the same four have been playing together for 4 years, and they've built up this synergy, and Seton Hall have worked really hard to get to this level of play, and we've seen the culmination of that, and man, it's gonna be a shame not to get to see these same three next season.
Yeah, it really is a shame that this team will never be the same after this season. It makes me it makes this postseason really bittersweet, but it makes me very happy that this will not be the last time that we see Seton Hall this year. this Seton Hall especially. That makes me really excited because I feel like they have a chance to take this tournament run really far, if not win it. And I think that'd be a great way to cap off such a successful season here in EGF.
Oh, these guys are absolutely contenders for national champions. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But they've done it before, haven't they? Seton Hall have won national championship under their belt, do they not? I'm second guessing myself. That could be a mistake. Don't quote me on that one, friends.
I won't. It sounds. I mean, I would believe you, either way, because they are a championship level team every single time they play, and in different ways as well. Seemingly, they can very easily shift from hyper aggressive to allergic to the ball, and at the drop of a hat as well. We're seeing Froze just do some gymnastics across the ends of the pitch at the moment. Seton Hall playing with this food a little bit, but at least the food is the ball rather than the opposition. Again, Seton Hall keeping it respectful, keeping it legit, as Georgetown has some opportunities of their own that Seton Hall wants to make sure that they keep in line.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident Seton Hall won national championship last year. I'm exhausted, friends. For some reason, I'm just fatigued, and my brain is not functioning like it should. I should have this on lock. That should not be information I have to second guess. But I'm fairly confident Seton Hall are your defending national championship. They could certainly do it again. They absolutely can compete, with the likes of teams like UTA and UConn and NAU and all them.
Absolutely. Oh man, I can't wait to see all those matches.
I'm
gonna be so excited.
It's gonna be so good. I think this is gonna be the best national championship yet, Tenric.
Yeah, we've seen a couple good interconference matches so far this season, but unfortunately, a lot of the high-level interconference games have actually kind of escaped us. So sure. we have yet to see a good couple really exciting matches that I'm very hopeful at least that we'll see in the tourney. As Seton Hall is going to put this fourth one away with 95 seconds left on the clock here. I don't think anybody has a motivation at this point other than Seton Hall just making sure Georgetown doesn't go crazy.
No, as a matter of fact, I mean, I kind of want to talk about nationals for a little bit here because we do have some incredible storylines, and it's just zero exaggeration when I say I think this is going to be the best nationals we've ever seen in Rocket League. And incredible storylines coming up. Villanova have been just on fire this year. I can't wait to see what Captain Horse and the rest of the squad has for us in postseason. I mean, UConn looking really, really good this year. Butler has been my breakout team of the year. And they just been outstanding. Their teamwork, fundamentals have been over the top. Hey, there you go. The Hoyas score their first goal of the night. What do you know?
There we go. Nice shot by Serene. That's a good off angle to take. Great wide shot. You absolutely do not expect that. But yeah, I agree. So many amazing storylines. I think my favorite has to be Northern Arizona's dictatorship over the Big Sky Division. Just the utter dominance we have seen from that team over that entire other group has been otherworldly and very rare in EGF history.
You know what, though? Montana played spoiler.
That's true.
NAU almost had a golden stage, almost had a perfect 3-0 stage, not dropping a single individual game. But Montana came through and beat them in week 15 and really played spoiler, although NAU did come back and win the conference championship. So definitely a huge rivalry there between the NAU squad and High Crew and company from Montana. I love that story as well.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something exciting to watch, especially considering that they are not necessarily worlds apart in those standings. NAU in second, meanwhile, University of Montana over in 10th. Depending on how groups are seeded, they might actually end up getting paired with each other, which would be so enticing. Oh!
That was a slick little move. Okay, legal. Okay, legal.
That was so tight. Check this out. Bam!
What a redirect.
That was some crazy airtime.
And had Froze breathing down their neck and Tone waiting in goal, and Legal's able to beat them both. Well done.
I'm telling you, this Georgetown team is sick.
I stand by. EGF as a whole has just gotten better, period.
Yeah, 100%. The skill floor has risen so drastically.
And
like Even
Yeah.
the winless teams, I can make a case for why they are like legitimately solid. Like Idaho and Howard, I love both those teams so much.
Yeah, two of the newer teams definitely struggled a little bit, but I mean, like I was talking about at the top of this game, back it wasn't that long ago, 2 years ago, a team, your 22nd ranked team would not have a clue what to do against your 4th ranked team. And I mean, that is clearly not the case here in this matchup. Yeah, Georgetown are a little outclassed here. Let's not beat around the bush, but holy cow. I mean, both of those goals from Serene and Legal Eagle, fantastic. Good stuff.
Yeah, those were really sick.
Yeah.
We'll have our match point here for Seton Hall. We'll see how much work Georgetown can do and how much Seton Hall how much work Seton Hall can do as well.
How much playing with
I
their
was gonna
food
be
they wanna
mean,
do?
and then I was like, they don't
yeah.
deserve that.
Good on you. Good on you. No, the Hoyas do not deserve that.
They
all
don't.
right?
They really don't. I love them so much. They're such a great team.
It's just unfortunate they have to face Seton Hall in this matchup.
Yeah, a lot of their losses have been really unfortunate because they've had to forfeit so many of their matches due to timing. Because I know a lot of their like midterms and breaks are like a little different than other people's times. As Palm Breeze will actually find an opening goal off kickoff here.
Georgetown have the lead for the first time in the series. And a great dunk from Palm Breeze. Follow that up. The stick with it. Good positioning. Good placement on the ball. What was that car? What is Froze using? I also love Tone's decal.
Yeah, Tone's car looks great.
What is this? What the heck is this? What are you doing, Froze? What? I'm glad Tone stole that goal for. I am so glad Tone stole that from you. I'm just saying.
You have to lie flat to drive in that thing.
You like lie on your stomach.
What kind of hitbox?
I don't know.
You're like a fly swatter.
It has to have the Batmobile hitbox, right?
Yeah, I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's the Batmobile hitbox.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could demo that car. I figured you just drive over the top of it.
I want to see. Did anybody get in? Oh no, Froze was ahead of everybody. Oh man, Tone just watching.
Cynthia. I don't even know what that was.
Bro, the close up on the face on the hood of the car.
I know. It's the Cynthia apparently.
He looks like he's expecting something.
Akin to the Ronin, according to our producer. Thank you, producer. I like how
Froze.
the producer
Froze,
is
what are you doing?
mysterious
Froze, what are you doing? Froze, what are you doing? Froze!
Froze!
Yo!
Yo! Oh my goodness. This is just giving massive copium over to Georgetown. They're like, we can do it! We can do it! Froze is messing around. Come on!
Oh man, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder how much Georgetown can keep Seton Hall to, because they've been forced into a bit of a panic mode a couple times so far this series.
I wonder how much Georgetown is just mad and how much they are laughing at this and can't keep a straight face because they know Seton Hall are just clowning around.
Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like you just have to laugh if you're Georgetown.
Seriously.
Because I feel like you've said your piece. You're already at the bottom. You have literally nothing to lose. You are not getting thrown down the standings even further because of this match. You are not, losing out on a humongous step into the playoffs because of this. This is the makeover montage for Georgetown.
Like it is, yeah. The makeover montage. Even Rocky had a montage.
It's true. Rocky got so glammed up. He was looking so good.
Oh, the Rocky house makeover. Now that's where it's at. Where you get the mattress off the floor and the punching bag in the corner.
Yeah, Rocky's a real open concept fan.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very different from the Ip Man home makeover. That's a very different home makeover.
Oh, goodness. Well, about 2 minutes to go here. Seton Hall still holding that lead.
Props on you for wrestling us back on track.
I mean, we have to get back to it occasionally.
I suppose.
Georgetown, unfortunately, can't really wrestle it together. Again, Seton Hall just moves at a different speed than this team. And again, this is not Georgetown's year. They're fully aware of that, but I think that they've carried themselves so well. They've showed up when they're able to, which again has not really been often this season. And every time they have, they've made it fun. They've made it interesting. They've given us some stuff to admire about the team going forward, and look forward to, in that next season. And it is no different tonight.
Oh, and I love the personality of the squad. I mean, look at this. Look at this car from Legal Eagle.
Yeah.
All right, wearing a big, like, shiny crown on their head. All right, if that doesn't scream the meme of the guy chewing on the metal and, sprayed himself with champagne from, like, the 5th place block, like, that's the vibe I get from Georgetown. I love the squad. Legal Eagle knows. Like, they're having fun with it. Like, it's great. It's personality. It's identity. It's teamwork, and it's fun. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. Not everybody can be #1 in the standings. Sometimes you just get beat at the goal line.
Seton Hall, with this win, will actually rise in the standings. They will get up to 3rd place. They will beat Delaware, I believe, as their round differential will be better. And their win-loss will be identical. So this match actually meaning something for Seton Hall's seeding.
Yeah, Seton Hall actually had a better round differential prior to this match.
Yeah, they did.
So let's put some context to this. Delaware 14-2, Seton Hall 13-2 coming into this, and Seton Hall we're still up by 3 in round differential. So we'll be up by 6, assuming the score holds.
Let's check this one out. Okay, Serene, beating him to it. Okay, Froze. It's because you know what? If Froze didn't have such a flat car, maybe he would have hit that.
I like how Palmer just walks right up to the goal.
Yeah.
Like, squares up, checks all of their positioning and their technique. 3 feet from the goal, like, takes that just perfect form shot where your coach is watching you and you're making sure, like, your feet are pointed the right direction.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? Palm Breeze did it.
I have a sneaking suspicion that... Oh, never mind. Okay, I was going to say, I thought Seton Hall was going to let Georgetown score one more time and then rule 2 on 1 second left and then own goal and then let overtime play for like 10 minutes. But they will be merciful and sweep this here and now.
Froze coming up with the big save there for Georgetown. Avoiding disaster. 4-2, your final there in Game 3 to complete the 3-0 sweep and conclude our regular season. Claps all around in chat.
Woo! It's done. Now we just have those national championships to look forward to. It's crazy to say that, but these teams are ready to go. They have done the work. They've done the time, and 16 of them will be heading to those national playoffs.
It's been a treat. It's been a heck of a season. It's been an honor. And I mean, especially with a lot of these seniors who are leaving. It's been an honor, seriously, to get to tell their stories. I know we've been kind of memeing around and having fun here through this last match, but on a genuine note, it's a real pleasure to get to tell what these seniors have brought to the table and to really, like, put out their legacy and tell what they have to offer and what changes they have made. Really are at a pivotal point in collegiate esports as a whole, not just Rocket League. And so, I mean, these seniors have been fighting out for tough 4 years and left something better behind. And we've seen that for all of these schools. I wish I had a chance to highlight individuals more than I have, but we've seen that from a lot of these schools here this season.
Yeah, we really have seen a lot of growth, and we will have to say goodbye to so many seniors this season, which is, again, very bittersweet, but we wish them the best, and we wish them the best of luck in those national championships Congratulations to those teams, and I can't wait to watch more of them. But Bullskunk, the fun still hasn't stopped. We are still not in playoff territory. We still have a little more regulation to play, just not necessarily some Rocket League.
No, no, we do have Overwatch's final regular day, our final day of regular season, final regular day of season,
Just final normal day.
final day season of regular. Anyway, yes, final day of regular season for Overwatch will be tomorrow. And I think we have some Overwatch conference championships going on this weekend as well. So a lot of fun going on over the Overwatch stuff. So definitely still some happenings here as we wrap up some of our other titles. And then of course, National starting April 22nd.